Yo, what is up, everybody? It is your boy out here, CJ the DJ, coming to you live with a brand new episode of Hustle and Burn. As always, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. It's Sunday. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully, we can end it off right, you dig? Appreciate y'all tuning in as always. And as always, first and foremost, guys, shout out to our sponsors, Diamond Consulting. For any general contractors out there in the Front Range, Colorado area that may need or utilize subcontractors in any different scope of work, any needed scope of work, contact Diamond Consulting, guys. What they have to offer is a private network of fully insured, pre-vetted subcontractors looking to grow and scale their companies. So contact Diamond Consulting, guys, today, 720-563-7452. Top of the morning, man. Welcome to the hottest half hour in the box state every Sunday. Appreciate the ones that have been tuning in. Appreciate the new ones tuning in. Let's get right into it, man. The Not For Long League, guys. We had some huge news come out this week that kind of flew under the radar a little bit. And it's shaking shit up. Let me tell you, man. It is rumored this week, guys, from Derek Carr and the Saints that Derek Carr is actually dealing with a shoulder injury. That could potentially sideline Derek Carr for the entire upcoming season. And this changes everything for the New Orleans Saints, guys. I mean, absolutely everything. Let's start with the draft implications. Right now, currently, as the Saints sit, they are the 9th pick in the draft. That is a juicy spot to be. I miss my juicy parlays, man. We almost back, y'all. We almost back. Got a couple more months to go, man. But the Saints are in a juicy spot sitting at number 9, man. As my brother Armando pointed out, if they trade up to the number 6 pick, right? Because the Raiders, obviously, at this point, look like they're trying to draft Ashton Genty. So, do the Saints trade up to the number 6 pick, right? Do they trade up to the number 6 pick in the NFL draft? The Raiders would move back to number 9. It looks like they're targeting Ashton Genty. So Ashton Genty could potentially still be available at that number 9 pick, right? At the end of the day, we don't know. I'm excited to see, though. But for the Saints, at the end of the day, they could move up to try and draft Shedeur Sanders, man. Him and the Saints would be a great fit, in my personal opinion. That is a high destination, high value spot for any quarterback coming into the NFL, man. But, you know, at this point, Derek Carr's kind of holding the Saints hostage, man. If we get into the contract, you know, context of it, everyone's sitting here saying Deshaun Watson robbed the Cleveland Browns. Oh, my goodness. Let's keep it real. Deshaun Watson has been hurt the last 2 seasons straight for the Cleveland Browns. Derek Carr has not played a full season for 2 years straight for the Saints. Deshaun Watson's salary this upcoming season, $46 million. Derek Carr's current salary this upcoming season, $40 million, right? So at the end of the day, man, the $6 million difference between Derek Carr and Deshaun Watson, who have both been inconsistent for their organizations. They're both obviously overvalued quarterbacks, right? So at the end of the day, they're both legally robbing their organizations. If you're going to mention Deshaun Watson, make sure you mention Derek Carr in the same breath, because he may not have done the shenanigans off the field like Deshaun Watson, but on the field, he ain't been producing just like Deshaun Watson, man. So really, at the end of the day, man, like I said, I mentioned this previously on a couple podcasts when the season first ended, when we were going over what teams, in my opinion, were the top destination spots for an incoming head coach, for a brand new head coach, right? And the Saints were the number 2 destination on my list. At the end of the day, the Chicago Bears were one of them as well, but the Saints were a high value target, in my opinion, just because everyone was like, oh no, you don't want to go there. They got cap space issues. Yeah, they also got a team option on Derek Carr after this year. So he's a goner, like I said. Even if he played, even if they did good, even if they made the playoffs, Derek Carr was probably going to be out of the Saints organization either way. It did not really matter at the end of the day, man. And you know, why did I mention this again? The Saints have that team option. Now, you got Derek Carr, who's likely out. They are a clear quarterback drafting candidate in the upcoming draft. A week or 2 ago, probably not looking for a quarterback in this draft if you're the Saints. But now Derek Carr having an injury that potentially sidelines him for an entire season, and then he has a player option next season, the writing's on the wall at the end of the day for the New Orleans Saints, right? So, you know, no disrespect to Spencer Rattler, right? The backup for them. But he showed last season while Derek Carr was out, he's just not an NFL caliber quarterback. It just is what it is. Maybe he can be in the future. He needs a little bit more development and time within the league. But at the end of the day, Spencer Rattler ain't it. You got Kellen Moore as your new head coach. That's the jackpot for the Saints, right? And Kellen Moore hit the jackpot by going to the Saints. That was the best option for him. So at the end of the day, you got the best offensive and best proven offensive coordinator, as I've mentioned, in Kellen Moore over the last 5 seasons. He did it with the team down in Tejas that we don't mention on the podcast this season. Y'all know why. Hurt my soul, right? But at the end of the day, man, Kellen Moore is the most proven offensive coordinator in the NFL over the last 5 years with multiple different organizations. I see nothing that's going to be different with the New Orleans Saints. And so now you can draft a rookie quarterback and pair that rookie quarterback with a rookie head coach for them to be able to build this organization together, to be able to build this offense together, man. That is an absolutely prime spot for Shedeur Sanders. An absolutely prime spot, even for a Jackson Dart, who's kind of getting, lost in the fray here, realistically, within these quarterbacks and kind of everything going on, right? So, realistically, guys, if we're looking at it, the trade-up prediction for the New Orleans Saints would be trade to the Raiders. Those are, I would say, the most likely partner because they don't seem to be QB hungry. They seem to be pretty focused on other pieces, and really potentially Ashton Jeanty is the biggest rumor for the Raiders right now. That they are looking at as a prime candidate. So in the Raiders' opinion, if you believe Ashton Jeanty is going to be available at the 9th spot, which I'll touch on in just a moment as well, why not trade back? Why not trade the Saints your number 6 pick as the Raiders organization? You get the 9th pick in the draft and probably a late round pick as well for allowing them to move up into that 6th position. The Raiders were able to draft a quarterback. Hopefully Shedeur, if he's still on the board, that would be a magnificent pickup. And then the Raiders get to go back and draft Ashton Jeanty at 9, if Ashton Jeanty is still there, right? But I wanted to present to you guys a couple wild card teams that are within this fray as well that could potentially throw a kink in kind of these plans for multiple teams here. Number 1, guys, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are sitting pretty at the number 5 pick. And I think no one is speaking on the Jaguars right now, which I think is wild, okay? Let's look at the Jags right now as they sit. Brand new head coach, okay? You got the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who at the end of the day, he may not have produced, but he's only been under Doug Peterson. So now that he has a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, Trevor Lawrence may be able to do a lot of things different. You got the franchise quarterback. You have a great running back in Travis Etienne. He's proven it back-to-back seasons, had quality seasons, right? Even though he was on my fantasy and didn't do that good, right? But at the end of the day, man, he has proven himself as a marquee running back in the NFL. And then you go to the wide receiver position, and you have Brian Thomas Jr., who was a Rookie of the Year candidate. I was screaming it on the podcast. Why is nobody showing this guy love? He is a top 3 wide receiver, not just among the rookies, in the NFL. What are we talking about, bro? And he's a rookie, and he was getting passes from backup quarterbacks half the season and still outperformed majority of wide receivers on rosters league-wide, fam, right? Like, I'm telling you. So at the end of the day, right, you got the quarterback, you got the running back, you got the wide receivers, you added the hotshot head coach who left the Bucks in the dust like my 6th grade girlfriend did to me, fam. You feel me? Left me on red, went to the other side, god damn it. That's what they did. That's what they have in Jacksonville. So, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you can also potentially trade back to the number 9 pick because you may be looking at an offensive lineman. You may be looking at a defensive lineman, right? If you're the Jaguars at the end of the day. You're not really looking for quarterback, running back, wide receiver, which is some of the top candidates in this draft. Abdul Carter is not going to be available at the 6th pick for anyone at the end of the day. Sounds like he's going to go 1 or 2 to either Tennessee or Cleveland, right? So, if you're not going to be drafting a quarterback, if you're not going to be looking at a running back, if you're not going to be looking at a wide receiver, as the Jacksonville Jaguars with the new offensive coordinator, why not trade back to the 9th spot? There's going to be a quality player there that can add value to your organization. And again, you get another late round pick from the Saints in order to do that. The Saints aren't just going to be able to trade the 9th for the 6th in a pick swap. It's going to have to be an additional late round pick that the Saints give up, or a pick next year, something like that. Right? We know that, guys. You have to be able to see that. So, the Jaguars are number 1 on my list at the end of the day for someone who could kind of wipe out the Raiders' plans potentially to move back. And at the end of the day, it's an even more quality spot. You're moving not just to 6, but you're moving up to 5th. So you can next to guarantee yourself that you are going to get that candidate in quarterback wise that you want, right? And so, the likely top 3 really with the picks and everything. You're looking at Abdul Carter probably going 1 to the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward potentially going number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. At number 2, you have the Cleveland Browns, who potentially are going to be getting Travis Hunter at a wide receiver or cornerback position, whatever the case may be. And then you have Cam Ward, right? So the top 3 spots are kind of locked up with Abdul Carter, Cam Ward, and Travis Hunter. That sounds like it's going to be definite realistically, okay? And then it gets spicy with who's in number 4. The New England Patriots. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a spicy spot for the Patriots to be, guys. Mike Vrabel is a smash mouth football type of guy. And in my opinion, the sleeper pick at 4 for the Patriots is actually scooping up Ashton Jeanty before anyone else has the opportunity to get them. All right? I know it sounds crazy. I know what everyone's saying. A lot of running backs that are drafted high don't pan out in the NFL, etc., etc., etc. Bottom line is, guys, at the end of the day, realistically speaking, every scout, every player personnel, everyone has said it looks like Ashton Jeanty is going to translate very well to the NFL offensive scheme, no matter where he goes, because he is that type of player. He is that dynamic, right? And so at the end of the day, if you're looking at the number 4 pick and Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, they could possibly be scheming up something big here, because you have, Shedeur Sanders again. He may not be available at the 5th pick, but Ashton Jeanty is most likely going to be available at that 4th and 5th pick. The Saints and Jags both have potential, but the Patriots sleeper pick is Ashton Jeanty. They cut ties with Joe Milton, okay? Sent him down to the team in Tejas that we do not mention on the pod for this season, right? And there was rumors that realistically the reason they did that was because Joe Milton played so quality in his one single game last year, and Drake May struggled a little bit, that realistically they felt like the fan base potentially, if Drake May had a couple bad games, would start barking for Joe Milton to be able to come in. And when you're building a new offensive scheme, Mike Vrabel has done it before with multiple different organizations. He did it in New England in the past. He did it in Tennessee before they blew up their franchise like bozos, realistically, okay? He knows how to build a team. He knows that it's not going to be good for your young quarterback to have the fan base barking, to have the media barking to give Joe Milton an opportunity. Ship him out of there, man, okay? Ship him out of there, and now you draft Ashton Jeanty potentially at number 4 if you're the Patriots. And what that does is it opens up the backfield immediately, especially, again, if he translates properly to the NFL, right? If he translates properly to the NFL, guys, Ashton Jeanty, realistically speaking, that opens up the opportunities for Drake May, who league-wide, guys, is regarded, even though he struggled last year, as having a great arm, as being accurate, and being an efficient quarterback. No matter what you think, watching Drake May, league-wide in circles, he's similar to a Justin Herbert. These guys respect Drake May. These guys think Drake May can be absolutely stellar at the NFL level. He just needs a little bit of development and a little bit more protection. Ashton Jeanty provides that bit of protection, both in the blocking, of course, but also in just opening up the offensive playbook, opening up the play-action playbook, man. And again, Mike Vrabel is a smash-mouth football type of guy. He has a proven track record of that. That sounds like a quality pick that Mike Vrabel is looking at, and that's going to shake up everything in the draft if that happens. So they draft Ashton Jeanty to set the tone, could be the next great running back in New England. Where does that leave the Raiders? As a Raiders fan, I'm now a little bit worried about that, now that I'm thinking of it. Where does that leave the Raiders at 6? And where does that leave the Raiders? Definitely if we trade the 6th pick to the Saints and move back to 9. What are we going to get? Because I don't think an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman is going to get us to that next level. I really think the Raiders need an Ashton Jeanty, right? Because they haven't signed any running backs in the offseason, which I think is crazy. Y'all could have signed at least somebody, bruh. Could have went, like I said, and got Najee Harris for cheap as hell when the Steelers let him walk, right? Speaking of the Steelers, Shedeur Sanders visited the Steelers organization. He's raving about how great it was. Do not go to the Steelers. The Steelers are not a destination spot. I don't know what is up with these players and these teams that think it's okay to just simply continuously make it a little bit further, but not make it to anything real, not make it to anything tangible. Does anyone really think that the Steelers were an actual candidate to win in the playoffs last season? No, realistically. So it's great. I'm glad, Mike Tomlin, that you get them there every single year and lose. It doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, it does not matter at the end of the day, man. And so, realistically speaking, guys, I say all that to say the Saints and Derek Carr and this injury really shakes things up because the Saints can be absolutely aggressive in pursuing a higher pick. And I think the 6th and 5th pick are the most wide open 2 picks. The Raiders aren't quarterback hungry. The Jacksonville Jaguars shouldn't, in my opinion, be quarterback hungry. And so you got to start looking at the fact that Mike Vrabel may want a starting running back to come in and really set the tone in the organization of that smash mouth football style that we know he likes to play with. Okay? And again, when you're looking at everything and everything going on, this shakes things up, guys. We only got a month until the draft, and it just makes things absolutely exciting. I really, really hope Shedeur Sanders, ends up. If Shedeur ended up, in my opinion, on the New Orleans Saints, guys, that's even better, in my opinion, for Shedeur than going. If there was one destination outside of Las Vegas that I would want to go to if I was Shedeur Sanders, it would be the New Orleans Saints. It would be to go play with Kellen Moore. To be able to, again, pair a rookie quarterback with a rookie head coach with the mind of Kellen Moore. He's a rookie head coach, right? But he's been in the league, guys. He's been around the league, multiple teams, and he's had success every single place he has went. I would want to go there if I was Shedorsky, man. Perfect timing. You feel me? I think this is perfect timing for this news to come out. Shedeur, go stop interviewing with the damn Steelers. Go take an interview with the New Orleans Saints and Kellen Moore. See how you feel about those guys. Because I'm telling you, if you get down to Pittsburgh, they're going to be happy with just making the playoffs and losing in the first round. It is ridiculous the way that these NFL teams just allow these coaches to do this shit for a decade, right? The NBA is a lot different. We've seen it, especially out here in Denver, right? We saw it this week, man. The NBA is different. Look at that segue. That was chef's kiss right there. The NBA is different, man. And this week, coming out the NBA news was Michael Malone being fired by the Denver Nuggets. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry. I had some technical difficulties earlier, y'all. I had to make sure we were still live, still going. I had some technical difficulties earlier, man. But, hey, Mike Malone was fired, again, because he just hasn't been getting it done. He hasn't been quality. And, again, the NBA is different than the NFL. If you're not getting it done at the end of the day, you're a goner. You're out of there, period. And everyone's like, oh, Michael Malone, like, I can't believe they fired him. Mike Malone lost the locker room. Anyone who can see that, anyone who actually watches the Nuggets over the last 2 seasons, he's had poor rotations, he's had bad late game decisions, he's over-relied on Nikola Jokic more than he should, and apparently rumors are he's treated certain players unfairly. Players that potentially earn more playing time, but Mike Malone didn't really get along with them. You just can't do that, guys. He lost the locker room, okay? And that's all that it boils down to, guys, is that he lost the locker room. Everyone's like, he won a championship 2 years ago. It doesn't matter. It does not matter that he won a championship 2 years ago. And let me go back the last 3 to 5 years in the history of the NBA. Frank Vogel, Los Angeles Lakers, championship. 2 years later, see ya. Mike Budenholzer, Milwaukee Bucks, championship. 2 years later, see ya. Monty Williams didn't win a championship, but got the Suns to a finals appearance, and they were on the cusp of looking like they were going to win a championship in the next season. 2 years later, see ya. Bye-bye. Common theme, guys. They lost their locker rooms. They lost the respect of their players. They lost the ability to be able to properly coach these players and maneuver around the NBA. And it's as simple as that. Get out of here with the feelings. I get it, he was the coach when we won a championship, but it doesn't matter. They're not winning games. And on top of Mike Malone being fired, Calvin Booth, the general manager of the Nuggets, was also fired, bro. Okay? The owner, there was reportedly issues between Mike Malone and the general manager not getting along. The owner stepped in and said, oh, you can't get your offensive schemes together, and the rest of the league's getting better than us, and you can't out-coach some of these guys, Mike Malone? Oh, Calvin Booth, you got issues with Mike Malone? Well, we got 4 Supermax contracts. Mike Malone didn't do that. You did. So, you're both gone. See ya. I'm not dealing with it, bruh. It's as simple as that. Ain't no drama. We ain't gonna do no drama. Get out of here, bro. If we're looking from a general manager perspective, I want to put this out there because no one is talking about this as they're talking about these guys being fired. We have 4 max contracts on the roster. For my NBA fans that don't understand maxes and super maxes, that is the maximum amount that a player can get paid, okay? Now we're talking like $150, $200 million contracts. We have 4 players signed to max or super max contracts. Nikola Jokic, who's deserving. At the end of the day, Joker gets whatever he wants whenever he wants. This guy should be the 5-time in a row MVP. He got robbed by that Joel Embiid, and he's probably going to get robbed by fucking Shai this year, which is disgusting. The guy is averaging a triple-double as a center. Oscar Robertson, Russell Westbrook, Nikola Jokic, the only 3 players to ever do that. What center has done that? Crickets. None, bro. Move over, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Move over, Shaquille O'Neal. You jabronis. Joker. GOAT. G-O-A-T. Anything Joker wants, he can get. I don't mind that. But Michael Porter Jr. with a max contract? What has Michael Porter Jr. done to deserve a max contract? I'm sorry. Again, I don't care about a championship 2 years ago. If that's what we're going to base our contracts off, we're dumb. And that's why the GM was fired. Then you got Jamal Murray. Since the championship, he's been subpar. I don't care what nobody has to say about it. Jamal Murray has been subpar since the championship. He's dealt with multiple injuries since the championship. I do not think he should have got that extension that we gave him. The Supermax extension. He shouldn't have. And then you got Aaron Gordon. And Aaron Gordon, honestly, is the only debatable one. That you can make an argument, he does deserve it. Because he plays both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. Aaron Gordon is a quality player. I was watching the Nuggets the other night against the Memphis Grizzlies, bro. At the end of the day, Aaron Gordon dropping 31. Jamal Murray scoring 10 points and 6 assists. What? Huh? Man, hey, this offseason, and I want to point out too, if the Nuggets lost on Friday to the Grizzlies, instead of being the 4th seed, they would have been the 8th seed. So we have 4 max contracts and potentially almost got the 8th seed in the Western Conference. That's why the general manager was fired, bro. That is unacceptable. That is directly related to the general manager and what he's doing. The rest of the NBA, guys, is getting better. The East and the West, they're doing it for cheaper. It's that simple. So get you out of here. Mike Malone, get out of here. Let's rebuild it. I think this offseason, if we don't win anything, and we're not going to win a championship, the Nuggets are not championship contenders. We are too top heavy. The Nuggets look like me last year. Buff up here, and my legs ain't got nothing. The backside ain't got nothing, man. The Nuggets have no bench. You cannot win a championship with no bench. That is the bottom line. Anyone who's sitting here trying to say that the Nuggets have a shot this year, you're just riding on the fact that Joker's going to score 40 to 60 points a game, and hopefully that's going to be enough. And I'm telling you, we've seen it. It is not going to be enough to win a 7-game series, bro. That is the bottom line with what's going on. And so the result of this, guys, since I haven't done it in a little while, actually, I was thinking to myself, Mike Malone, Calvin Booth, y'all get the Fried Award of the Week this week. Y'all are fried, my guys. Fried. You can't win with 4 Supermax contracts? What are y'all doing? Get out of here. Get out of here, man. I do not want to hear anyone talking about, oh, Mike Malone shouldn't have been fired. The Nuggets need to trade away Jamal Murray. The Nuggets need to trade away MPJ. And they need to go pursue Kevin Durant in this year's upcoming free agency and offer him a max contract. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, and then you use the last max contract you were using on MPJ to go sign some bench players, some role players, man. We need the Bruce Browns of the world. We need the Caldwell Popes of the world. We need the Jeff Greens of the world. These are the guys that won us the championship, not Michael Malone, not Michael Porter Jr. Like, That's the bottom line, bro. I don't care what no Nuggets fans got to say, man. Y'all got to look at it objectively. Stop looking at it with emotion, man. It's a business. We trying to come up. We trying to win championships, bro. If you ain't winning championships, I don't want to hear it. Get out of here, man. That's all I got for the NBA, man. I had to bring that up because there's been a lot of talk this week with Nuggets fans, man. Mad about Michael Malone being fired. Man, get out of here, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Get that guy out of here. Get that guy out of here, man. Let's move on to the music, man. I wanted to bring up some music news this week. Not really music news, I guess I should say. But just something that I've been peeping and kind of noticing within the music realm here. Let me see real quick. Sorry, y'all. I got to keep checking, man. I had technical difficulties earlier. I got to make sure we still rolling, man. I got to make sure I'm a one-man show around here. I ain't got no camera crews or nothing quite yet, you know? But, man, I wanted to bring up the music and just put this out there because it's really killing me personally. I am a huge music fan. Anyone in my circle knows, like, music is a true love of mine, bro. Like, a true, genuine love of mine, fam. And it's just, you know, frustrating to see these legacy artists stepping back more and more from the music. And I wanted to kind of break it down for you guys so a lot of you understand what I mean by these legacy artists stepping back. Kanye West kind of started the trend years ago when he kind of stepped away from music, but today's big names are shifting to be more mogul moves rather than actual music, guys. Justin Bieber actually just announced he's launching a clothing and shoe brand. I don't care what you say about his recent Instagram posts or anything like that. If you go look at the brand and the shit that he's, you know, releasing and the quality of it, it looks like a quality brand. And I'm extremely excited about Justin Bieber's brand. Okay, so I don't care about the antics on Instagram at the end of the day. None of us can fathom and understand what he's going through, right? Like, not to bring this subject up, but like, it's embarrassing for victims. Think about how often we hear of victims of SA, right? You guys know what I'm saying when I speak on SA. Think about victims who say they don't want to come forward when they get SA'd, okay? It's embarrassing to them to come forward to their family, to their friends, in court, things of that nature. That's on a small scale. Imagine the fact that the entire world knows that this kid was SA'd by grown men for years. That's what Justin Bieber's going through right now. The entire world knows he was SA'd by grown men for years. I don't care if he's posting looking lit on Instagram. He probably is trying to get lit. He probably is trying to run from some issues, bro. That's the bottom line. I don't care about it. What I care about is the fact that his clothing and shoe brand looks quality. And he's moving more towards that and away from the music. When's the last time Justin Bieber released a track? Right? Artists like Nicki Minaj, she's releasing her own sneaker line. When's the last time you heard a Nicki Minaj song or album? Right? Like Rihanna, you see it with the Fenty, billion-dollar company. She doesn't need to drop music. And so the reason that is, again, to kind of bring it to you guys and break it down, streaming pays nothing to these artists, guys. Okay? Streaming pays nothing. On Spotify, 1 million streams. If you get 1 million streams on Spotify, guys, average pay for that is $3,000 to $5,000. $3,000 to $5,000, guys. That's fucking pennies, bro. And think about on top of that, the labels are often taking 25% or more based on the contract and record deal that the artist signed of that stream revenue. So imagine getting minimal pay from Spotify, from Apple Music, from YouTube, from all these companies, and then the label is taking money from you as well. It doesn't make sense from an artist's perspective anymore, bro, to continue to drop music. Like, that doesn't matter. They've already built the brand. And that's what's getting scary about the music industry is that, like, at this point, it's been exposed. It has been exposed by Drake, by multiple other artists as well, that the record labels own the distribution companies, Spotify, Apple Music, or at least they have massive vested interest. So think about this double fuck that's going on, okay? You sign as an artist to a record label. They take 25%, let's estimate, of your streaming revenue. On top of that, you have to distribute to Spotify and Apple Music, who your record label has partial ownership of. And then Spotify is also taking a percentage of your streaming revenue simply to distribute your music on their platform, bro. It's a double screw job. And the record labels are the owners of it, bro. And so it's like, these are their own companies, bro. And again, Drake is the one that kind of exposed it with this Universal Music and Spotify, lawsuit during this Kendrick beef, bro. Like, it's the best outcome to come out of this. And I hate to bring up this name, but Tekashi 6ix9ine, guys, back in 2020, 2021, 2022, when he first got out of prison after he snitched and everyone was hating on him, he basically said, oh, y'all ain't gonna fuck with me? Oh, I'm a snitch? Cool, I'm gonna start exposing all this shit. All this shit is bots. These top artists ain't really the top artists. The record label are botting all their numbers. Streams are fake. It's just to get them on Billboard. It's just to get the hype around them, the media train. All of it's fake. Tekashi 6ix9ine said this openly. So again, for people that are paying attention, this is nothing new. The bots and all that shit, right? Like, it's all smoke and mirrors at the end of the day. Turns out Tekashi was right. And again, Drake is the one leading. When you have the biggest artist essentially exposing that, it changes the course of things completely. And there's going to be a big change here, guys. You see that Spotify got denied being left out of discovery. They have to disclose what relationship they have with Kendrick Lamar's record label in terms of this whole beef and what they agreed to, what the contracts look like, things like that. It's being exposed, guys. You see Kendrick Lamar went from 97,000 streams a day to like 68,000 when they removed bots off Spotify. That's 30,000 streams, bro. That's 30,000, like, you know what I mean? That's 30,000 daily listeners. I'm sorry, it's not streams. It's 30,000 daily listeners. Went from like 97K to 68K, his actual number. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy. And again, artists have been preaching it. When you get an artist like Russ is fully independent completely. He has a real fan base. But when Russ drops a song, guys, it's not on the Billboard charts. You hear nothing of it. There's no media hype. There's no media train. There's no nothing. But when you go to a Russ show, there's 50,000 people with their lights up in the air singing his songs word for word, bar for bar. Doesn't matter if it's in the US, doesn't matter if it's overseas. It's because that's the quality artist, bro. Bots are ruining the numbers. Bots are ruining the metrics. So how can you trust the metrics? You can't. And artists like Russ, even artists, again, I hate to say it, but Tekashi have been saying this, guys. You can't trust the metrics. It's all smoke and mirrors. That's why the authenticity and the relatability are what makes an artist, guys. That's what gives the artist value. That's why Drake has value, whether you like it or not. Whether he's the one writing these songs or not. His tracks have that relatability, bro. They have that form of, like, it feels authentic. Like, it just feels authentic when it's coming from them. And that's regardless of genre. Like, that's why you get the Morgan Wallens of the world, bro. His shit feels authentic. This guy's getting drunk in Nashville, throwing bar stools off of rooftops, bro. Like, and then he goes and sings about, like, that's the authenticity of him. Russ is authentic. You can feel it. You can hear it. And that's the argument with people with Drake. My argument is, I don't care if he's not the one writing the songs. He makes it sound authentic. He does it better. And that's probably from his acting career. That's fine. But that's why he's the biggest artist, bro. It's the way that they make the listener feel. Think about Travis Scott, for example. I can't hear half the shit Travis Scott is saying in his songs. But it's the way that he makes his fans feel. Fiend. I don't know another bar in that song besides Fiend. I don't even know Playboy Cardi's verse on that joint, fam. All I know is Fiend. That's all you're gonna hear, fam. It's just the way that it makes you feel at the end of the day, bro. That's what makes these artists who they are and the big name artists and why you can't knock them off. That's why even Kendrick Lamar within the Drake beef, even like everyone says, like, oh, Drake's trying to be a tough guy and this and that. But if you go listen to his albums, it's really not tough guy shit. Whereas Kendrick Lamar, squabble up. That sounds like you're trying to be tough guy shit. And at the end of the day, I don't care if you're from Compton. You don't live in Compton anymore. That's the bottom line. So it feels inauthentic from a certain demographic. Now, from people in Compton, it may feel authentic because that's his core fan base. But from an outside perspective, from a worldwide perspective, it actually seems more inauthentic that Kendrick is trying to pander to that demographic versus Drake, who simply is just trying to be, hey, I'm Drizzy Drake, man. I'm the GOAT. Somebody got a problem? Come see me about it. That seems more authentic than like, scrabble up, bing, bop, boom, bop, bing, bop, bang. Like, bro, I'm sorry. That's just what it is. And that's why Kendrick can never knock off Drake. That's why they need the bots. That's why the record labels pushed the bots so heavily during the beef, and it's being exposed. That song, the whole beef, was never really as hype as it was. It was just the media train. It was just the bots. And again, guys, I say that to say that really it sucks. It genuinely sucks, bro. Because none of these new artists are authentic at all. And that's why you see music slowing way down. And as a core, like, lover of music, it sucks, bro. Like, it's essentially the same thing as, like, LeBron James in the NBA. I think I've mentioned this before. Like, you want to hate on LeBron James because he's just been around for so long. But it's like, then come take it away from me, bro. Like, come take it away. No one's taking it away. And these legacy artists, like Drake, for example, they know how to use the new era. Drake is using the streams, things like that. He's streaming with Aiden Ross. He's doing the gambling live, stuff like that. He's using that to leverage his already made brand, bro. But that's only Drake. And that's why you see the Justin Biebers. That's why you see the Kanye West. That's why you see the Rihannas. That's why you see these people stepping away, the Nicki Minaj's, stepping away from music, bro. And a lot of these artists should have done that and should have been better about it. Like, the reality is a Lil Wayne. I love Lil Wayne. Everyone will tell you, I damn near take a bullet for the cat, right? But, like, when he drops an album, a lot of the songs, like, my one argument with why I nowadays wouldn't put Wayne as the GOAT is, like, I don't get game from Lil Wayne. I don't hear any game being given realistically. It's all tough guy shit. And you've been famous since you were 15. I don't want to hear about the tough guy shit, bro. Give me some authenticity a little bit, bro. Like, you feel me? You guys get what I'm trying to get at there? And that's what's frustrating, bro. The rappers need to start using the streamers more to be able to seem more authentic. That's why you guys see these streamers blowing up so much when they're bringing these music artists up. Playboy, Plackboy Max, DDG, Kai Cenat even. When they bring these artists on, it seems, and you get to see behind the scenes, even though it's a scene, even though the rappers are probably portraying whatever, it seems more authentic when they're sitting in front of a computer, interacting with the chats, stuff like that. And these new artists gotta catch on because the legacy artists are trying to step away because they've been wrapped into fucked up contract deals. But then the new artists aren't able to pick up the slack. So there's this major gap, and it's causing an extreme slowdown in music, which just sucks, man. But the old school models aren't going to work. The old school models are dead. The real impact is relatability, authenticity, and connection to the listener, not streams. Look at Nav, for example. Nav just dropped an album. He did a bunch of bundles with merchandise sales that counted as stream amounts. This is what they're doing. If you sell a t-shirt, oh, that counts for 1,000 streams. Huh? What are we even talking about, bro? And so Nav was at 68,000 first week streams. They took out the bundles, 30K, bro, first week. Half the numbers, bro. You're not as popping as you're trying to portray, as your record label is trying to push and promote. That's the bottom line. And I just wanted to bring that up because it's alarming, man. And I hate it as a true deep down music lover, bro. I love music. Like, I love when I can turn on a song. This last Drake album, it just keeps aging like fine wine. Like, I love when I can listen to some shit and it's just like, it gives you that vibe, man. And I hope something changes in the music industry. But again, the Justin Biebers, the Kanyes, the Nicki Minaj's, the Rihannas, and potentially, depending on how this lawsuit goes, even the Drakes, guys, are slowing down on the music. and simply, and that's one of the reasons actually why Drake is still who Drake is. While all these other legacy artists are slowing down, dropping albums every 3 to 5, 5 to 7 years, Drake has been consistent, whether you like it or not, whether you like the music or not. He has consistently dropped. And you could argue it's because he doesn't write his music. At the end of the day, Justin Bieber doesn't write his songs either. I don't want to hear it. Right? Like, and that's who I pair Drake with, is guys like that. I don't pair Drake with Kendrick Lamar's just because he doesn't write his own shit. Like, that's great. You can write your own shit. Yes, you may be a better writer than Drake, but Drake's a better performer than you. He's better at seeming authentic than you. He's better at making a connection and a feeling than you. Bottom line, right? So that's all I got for y'all. Ooh, Lord. That's all I got for y'all, man. No investment rap of the week this week. You know, at the end of the day, with the investment rap and everything like that, it should be pretty evident. We're going blow for blow, tariff for tariff with China. Right now. And, you know, at the end of the day, in my opinion, it was just used as a negotiating tactic for Donald Trump, guys. It was simply just used as a negotiating tool to get these countries at the negotiation table, which hasn't happened in 50 to 100 years. We haven't had new trade deals in 50 to 100 years. Now, basically every single country is coming to the negotiation table and wants to negotiate on trade deals for these tariffs because they know that they need the United States. The only one that's not is China, and that's totally fine, China, right? Like, whatever, bro. But I don't have any investment rap of the week. All I will say is what I've continued to say, guys. Find your levels and just simply dollar cost average in. You don't need a lot to begin investing. That's the mistake people make. You don't need to buy a full share at $178 of Apple. If you can only afford to buy a quarter share, a tenth of a share, buy that tenth of a share. Let it build, let it grow. Do that once a month, every single month for the next year. I promise you'll own a couple shares by the end of the year, right? And you're going to be making money off those couple shares. That's what it boils down to, guys, with the dollar cost averaging method. And so all I got to say for the investment wrap of the week, on TradingView, which is the free platform that I mentioned to you guys previously as we've been chatting about this stuff. On TradingView, you can follow me. My name is Lough Time, L-O-U-G-H, Time 303. Recently I've been publishing my technical analysis, my levels that I'm looking to buy these things at. I am not telling you guys I am an expert. What I am telling you is what I've said before. Proximity to good information is key. And I've been getting closer and closer to the good information. My mentor is close to the good information. We are locked in. And I'm telling you again, I'm not the technical analysis guru, but these levels that I'm looking to buy at are pretty quality levels. If you're looking to invest, if you're looking to get a little bit of advice, if you're looking to kind of see some ideas, go follow me. Look at the things that I'm publishing. Lough Time 303 on TradingView. It is cost-free. Sign up for a free account with your email. It's as simple as that, man. Let's keep grinding, guys. Let's keep doing our best to be great. Let's keep being ourselves, but also growing and developing into the people that we know ourselves to be. Stop taking advantage of other people. Stop letting yourself down. Stop letting everyone else down and the people around you down, the people who really believe in you. I've been really thinking about that lately. There's people around me that really, truly believe in me, believe in my abilities, believe in my mind. I can't keep letting myself down, and I can't keep letting those people down. And I'm committed to not doing that any longer. That's extremely important to me, and it should be important to y'all, man. Everybody have a blessed Sunday. Stay prayed up. If you ain't prayed today, man, God bless everybody. I appreciate y'all tuning in every single week. I got some new fun stuff that I'm looking to dive into on the pod for y'all to spice it up and shake it up. For the old listeners that have been sticking with me, I appreciate y'all. For any new listeners, appreciate y'all tuning in. We out.